Hello Simmers and welcome to my channel. I am going to start doing speed builds. So when I first started making content, I was just doing like screenshots on TikTok. And then TikTok like weirdly deleted my channel. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I just decided to move to YouTube. My other builds are just like screenshot videos. They're like 3 minutes max on those, but my ultimate goal was speed builds. So that's what I'm doing now. Obviously they're not going to be the greatest in the beginning. I've never made videos before. So this is all brand new. Just like my build that I decided to do. Yeah, I completely stepped out of my comfort zone. But that's okay, because here we are. So I started this build just before the ranch, like the horse ranch EP came out. I know. It was a super long time ago, so I've been working on this build for a while. However, I haven't been working on it the whole time. I got super distracted with ranch builds and horses and wine and, or I'm sorry, nectar. That I took a break from the build and recording, which I don't know why I didn't record any of my horse ranch builds, just to be ready for more speed builds, but that's a different story. That's a completely different story, actually. And then I actually just built a house for someone over on Twitter who requested a build just randomly on Twitter, and I was like, oh, me, try me. I'm sure she had other people like do the same build for her. And then she just like either used some of them or used one. I'm not sure, but she seemed to like the build that I did. And so then I stopped for that also. And I finally finished it, and now I'm working on the voiceover. Took a lot of editing. The video took a lot of editing. Just because I'm not the fastest builder, and I can never make up my mind, ever. So I change things like 20 times, and you don't need to see that. Also, I have the hardest time finding stuff sometimes in the catalog. I have no idea why, especially because I have Better Build By. I don't understand how some of you are able to easily locate something. Even when I know what something is called and I put in like a word, it doesn't come up. I have no idea why, but that's beside the point. It works just fine. I get through it, but it takes me a little bit. So anyway, let's get going on talking about the build. Like I said, I started this a while ago, got distracted. But prior to the Horse Ranch EP coming out, I decided to go ahead and buy my wedding stories. I love the world. It is so beautiful. However, when I had this brilliant idea of buying that pack, I didn't think about that I've never built anything in that style before, ever. Just because I've always built kind of the same thing, your typical, suburban house or a farmhouse, stuff that I'm familiar with. I am not familiar with anything from Oasis Springs or Tartosa, but here I was deciding that I'm going to buy this pack strictly because I love the world. Yes, I love the world. But to keep the world authentic, you kind of have to build that way. So when I started the build, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I want. How do I accomplish it? So my idea in my head was be some kind of villa, but not like an Italian villa. I was thinking more along the lines of like Greece. So ultimately, in my head, I was thinking about Mamma Mia, just like that kind of style. And I don't know, that's just what I was thinking. I have no idea why, but that's just immediately where my head went. So I set out not to create Mamma Mia or the island that they live on, right? I just wanted that was just my inspiration. So that's what I did. Partway through my build, I kind of got away from that. And I actually ended up going back to that. So you might see in there where I change my house color completely, like I'm talking from light to dark, but then you'll ultimately see that I go back, I make up my mind and say, nope, I'm gonna stick with my original plan, and we are going with a white stucco type deal and blue accents. That's what I wanted. Like I really wanted, or like a turquoisey accent, something that really brought out that Grease feel. But weirdly enough, I mean, this whole thing was completely out of my comfort zone. So typically I have a family made, or at least a family idea. And I didn't have anything. The only thing my mind kept thinking about was Mamma Mia. So I wanted to use this as inspiration, but for whatever reason, I'm like, oh no, it can't have this because there's a girl, there's a daughter. Or I can't have this because there's a husband. Or, I mean, there's not a husband. So it was really hard. I don't know why I was having such a difficult time. I probably should have created the Sims first that were going to live there instead of getting into the build. But I have no idea, like, what I was thinking, but the whole thing was just done in a way that I don't normally do it, but that's okay. But with that being said, I'm super nervous about this build, like, just to kind of share it. I mean, I'm excited, but I'm also nervous just because it's out of my comfort zone and it's my first speed build that, like, I don't want, like, first impressions, like, to make people think something that they're not probably going to see very often. I mean, who knows, though? I had a lot of fun building this, so I might step out of my comfort zone more, but we're gonna have other builds, mostly suburban or farmhouse, or I love Henford on Bagley. I am obsessed with that world, okay? So you might have a little bit of cottages in there too. So I hope you like that, because they're gonna be there. Anyway, so the whole thing was out of my comfort zone. I didn't have the Sims in mind. The build itself was totally not me. But I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. And honestly, even though it wasn't exactly what I saw in my head, it completely changed. It still makes me happy to look at the house. So anyway, going through the build, I had to keep rethinking about the Sims that were going to live there. I only could come up with basics, and I decided that we were just going to stick with Mamma Mia because that's where my head was going. So I was thinking, okay, let's just go with it. We're going to create a mom and a daughter. I'm thinking that, I mean, honestly, based on the way I decorated the girls' room, I'm like, okay, I don't want her to be too old, but I don't want her to be too young. So we're at the stage of where she has like a toy box still in her room, but she also has makeup. So she's like preteen era, like just getting out of playing with toys, but she can't seem to let them go. But she's also really into fashion, organization. Like I see her as somebody who is just super confident, very sure about themselves, very organized, and she just knows who she is and is super happy and confident with that. And then the mom, we're just gonna go all out with the mom. All right, she is going to be awesome. I mean, I guess it depends on your idea of awesome, but what I'm thinking is everybody wants to be her friend. Everyone. And I think I'm gonna make her have like, I'm trying to think of what the characteristic or the trait is. What is it? Anyway, I'll come back to that. So, that's what it is. I want her to be like a hopeless romantic sim. So maybe she can have a couple of gentleman friends, all at the same time, maybe. I'm not really sure, but people are just so into her that they just want to be with her, be friends with her, be a part of her life. And she's all right with that. I mean, she's going along and just living life. But other than that, I don't really have anything more planned for the family. I don't have any kind of careers in mind. Really nothing. So, I mean, the house is decorated kind of eclectic, maybe, just because they don't really have any specific, I didn't really decorate it with any specific interests or hobbies or anything like that. I did put some crafting in there because who doesn't like crafting? I mean, especially like two ladies. I mean, but so there is a little bit of crafting. Oh, and reading, because reading is the best. And I mean, it really helps the Sims anyway. I mean, like, if you don't have if you don't have anything, I mean, if you have some books, you can at least learn some skill points, right? But so yeah, I made like a little library. So it's kind of like, almost kind of looks like a castle, just because like in Mamma Mia, like there's like these random like levels. I was working with the island lot also in Tartosa, so I wanted to try and get those layers of the house, but I didn't necessarily really want to go down. So I kind of went up, and to be honest with you, because I used terrain tool in this build, so because I manipulated the terrain, it kind of gave me less options for like the outside space. So it made the lot smaller, right? And I typically don't do small houses. I usually like to start on like a super big lot and then like build the house, and at least from that point, then I will like fence it off to get an idea of how big I really want the yard to be, and then I might move the lot, right? But that's what I do just because I don't like to run out of room, because it can throw off my whole idea and then I get really frustrated. So this one was hard because I really wanted to build here in this specific lot, but it was really kind of small for what I was trying to accomplish. But anyway, so I went up. So it kind of has like a castle-y vibe to it. There's like a little tower, and that's where I put the library. The floor plan really threw me off in this house. Floor plans are not my strong point, okay? Let me just tell you. I think I redid this floor plan like 6, 7, 10 times. I'm not sure. Pretty happy with where it ended. I like it. Yep. But yeah, floor plans are not my thing. I'll get there. It's fine. Because I've been building the Sims for, God knows, like 10 plus years. But hey, there's still time. I'll get it. I know I will. So let's actually get talking specifically about what I'm doing now. Right now, I'm adding some ivy and some growth and vines to my house because, you know, you gotta have some overgrowth to the build. I'm trying to kind of keep it authentic to Mamma Mia, if you will. So it's kind of overgrown, but it is also taken care of. Oh, I'm adding some, I feel like the rocks needed something. Too many like rocks and stuff, like just plain, I just feel like the rocks couldn't be so pristine. They needed some detail on them. So I just decided to try and add some greenery to them. I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, I think it is kind of realistic. Maybe not. I mean, you can have some, especially like, what is that? Well, viney type of plant growing across the rocks. I feel like that is pretty typical. I mean, I don't necessarily know for this area, but I have seen where greenery, green vinery, I don't even know how to say it, greenery grows in vines across things. Obviously, it grows across a house, so it can grow across a rock, right? Yeah, so here I am painting what is left of my little back garden because so small. I had such a hard time. I don't know why it was so difficult for me, but it was. Oh, also, after I put in so much effort with these darn rocks, I realized that I picked the wrong rocks, but that's okay. I mean, they look really pretty unless you get super close and then they just disappear, but hey. Oh, I really like the tree that I picked. I was gonna do that pretty white leaf flowery tree, but this one worked so much better because I like the way it came down the terrain layer and like the roots came out of the underneath. I just really liked it, so we went with that and just stuck with it because it really fit the aesthetic. No, I don't think that's right, but I just really like the way it looked, so I stuck with it. I don't know if it actually matches the area, but it's fine. I like it. Needed to add the trash cans because, you know, gotta recycle. Oh, and the blue was perfect for my accent colors. It was perfect. Oh, here's the laundry room. Oh my gosh. Okay, also, I want to point out that I promise in my next build, I will stick to like a room by room. I'm gonna do one room at a time, but I just stopped and started so many times in this build and I had so many little edits because I would just work on it like whenever. That I was just like, oh, I forgot this, or oh, let's go do this. So there's a lot of jumping around from room to room or outside to inside. I won't do that again, I promise. But right now we're in the laundry room, and we are putting in the essentials for this type of room. I was really happy that I had the idea of like the teal or the turquoise or like the bluey kind of accents, and I was super excited because like the laundry day had that real specific blue that I wanted, that I was actually like looking for. I mean, some of the other blues, they were not the accurate blue that I wanted, but I went with it. But laundry day was perfect, the perfect blue that I wanted, that I had in mind when I'm doing this. So it worked out really good. I also really like the tile. The tile that I used for like the kitchen and the bathroom and the laundry room, I felt like it fit really, really good. I also really wanted to stick with like stones and stucco for like the flooring and stuff. For the flooring and for like the walls, just because I felt like it fit the area. Like, I mean, every kind of area has a certain type of home, right? So like in Florida, I feel like when you go to Florida, a lot of the houses have tile like throughout the house. My cousin used to live in Port Charlotte, and when we'd go visit, I just remember like the first time when we went there, I don't know how old I was, maybe like I was under 10, but I was like, oh my gosh, why does your whole house look like a kitchen? Like, it didn't make sense to me, but I mean, it does make sense, and yeah, it makes sense for that area. So, I didn't really want to put too much like wood or anything like that. I mean, I did use some wood, but I also tried to stick with the ceramic looking tile or stone looking tile throughout the house for the most part. And then the same with the stucco. It probably helps keep the house cool too, because it kind of looks like a warmer place, but I might be wrong. I have no idea. I've never left the United States, so that's all I'm familiar with. I love these rugs. Both of them. I mean, I know they're not from the same pack, but I just love both of them. My favorite rug is the yellow one with, I don't even know where that's from. I love it though. Is it laundry? I don't know. I really like that like chest looking, I don't even know what it's categorized as. I like it. It's blue, it's turquoise, it worked. I used it as a table. I'm pretty sure it was in like the surfaces category. I really liked it and it fit so good. I always struggle, you know something I always struggle with? Adult bedrooms, like parent bedrooms. Why are they so boring to me? I have no idea. But I will go all out. Kids' bedrooms, teenage bedrooms, even baby rooms. I am going all out. When I get done with an adult bedroom, I'm like, that's it? There's nothing in here. My room is not like that. I'm an adult. And my room is not the way I make the Sims room. Like my Sims adult rooms. I should know that that's not accurate depiction of how an adult sim room or an adult room is. So why do I have such a hard time decorating an adult sim room? You know, I honestly think it's because like what do I honestly have to put in an adult sim room? What do I have? I have no idea. That's something I always put in the adult sim room is that like glasses tray. Like, okay, so there's like some glasses on there, and I think there's a coffee on there. Maybe I don't put that in the Sims room. It's something with a watch, I think. Like, I put it next, if I'm having like a dad sim, I use that, and I put it on his nightstand, just because I feel it's a very fitting thing for a decoration in an adult sim room. And I really don't have very much else to put in there, so... Oh, this is where I kind of really wanted to show her organization. I wanted her... This is the daughter's room, by the way. So right now it kind of looks like an older child's bedroom. But obviously I put some smaller clothes in there because I didn't want it to... I wanted it to reference the fact that she was still small. But I wanted her to seem extremely... Oh, see, there's the toy chest. But I wanted her to seem extremely organized and just a certain way. So I wanted to show that she was in a transition stage, but she was also super organized. Oh, I wanted to point out, I don't know if you just saw, but to get the look that I was going for in her room with the open doors, I didn't want to mess around with a random piece of wood giving me, I don't know what the word is. I'm just going to go with like a door frame, right? But obviously I didn't want to use an actual frame for a door because it gives that header above the door, and I did not want that. But I struggled because if I knocked out the wall there altogether and just used like the columns on either side, then my roof would go away. I struggle so much with roofs. So I didn't want to get rid of that. I wanted to like keep that there. So what I did is I used two of like the archway type things in the door category. I had one at normal height so that it would fill out the bottom half, because you know, like when you size down a door or a window or something like that, it keeps the opening that the game gives for that window, right? So I took one and had it at normal level, and then I took another one and raised it up to get rid of the header. And I used tool to, you know, get it to, well, actually, I think I used the bracket key to get it down as low as the bracket key, like as small as the bracket key would allow me to. And then I just kept it that way. Because I don't know if you're familiar with using tool, but once something is like out of your view or out of your lot, you can't get it again. Like you can't click on it. You can't find it, or you can't click on it because it's off your lot. So I wanted to keep it just small enough to where it wasn't like obstructing my view of the vision of the room, but still to where I could see it. And then once the build was all done, I went in with tool and like made it super minuscule so like you just didn't see it anymore. It was gone. So if you see the room upstairs and you see her doorway and you're like, what are those two white floating things? It's the archway of the door, and they're just sitting there while I'm building. But they do go away at the end. But that's what I do that. I find it helpful. Because let me tell you, nothing is worse than making a mistake and then trying to go and build something somewhere where you made that mistake, and then no matter what you do, when you build a wall, there's a hole in it. Oh, here's our screenshots. I talked literally the entire video, and it's a long one. I talked really about nothing. Sorry. That's the entranceway. I love the ceiling. I love painted ceilings. There's the laundry room. I did kind of go with a lot of wood flooring. Or, I mean, I just said I didn't go with wood flooring, but I went with a lot of wood ceilings. I love using little lamps. So I have one in the kitchen and one in the bathroom, and like it just looks so cozy. I mean, I'm not saying that you need your bathroom cozy, because that's kind of weird, but it just gives like a little nightlight feel. I like it. Can I just say that I absolutely love the placemat idea? I had no idea they existed. I love them. I love them so much. I don't really like a lot of the swatches though, but that's fine. They're just so adorable. Alright guys, well I think that I'll just stop the voiceover now, because I really just am talking about nothing. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the screenshots, and I will see you in the next build. Thank you so much for coming and watching my video, and I hope you come back. Bye!